Well, I finally made it to my homeboy house, who I'm getting ready to do a little video with. And the first thing I'm gonna say is, hi, damn, can you live any further away? Alright, so cool. I'm about to get ready to go up in here, you know, about to get a view of what he got, what kicks he got in the store and all that good stuff. So, with that being said, I'll see you inside.
Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body. Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body. Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body. Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body. Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body. Suckers come and try me, they gon' find your body.
Switch it up, switch it up. Yeah.
What's going on? As promised, I told you I was going to be coming over here to visit one of my good friends here who's been doing this thing for a little bit of time now. And what I've asked him to do here is I've asked him to just point out a couple pair of the in my opinion, the rare shoes that released some years ago that very few people have in their collection. You know, just point them out. You know, give us a little bit of history, a little bit of background. I'm not going to say history because that could take some time. A little bit of background on it, and then you know we're going to move on to the next part of this video. So without further ado, SFman23, what you got?
Okay, thank you. Well, this right here, this is in my formal dining room, but these are a bunch of shoes that I believe or I like to showcase as part of a shoe collector. That I think not much so slept on, but shoes that not from the retros necessarily, but originals that haven't been a retro yet. And this is part of when you come to the home and you see from the collection, you come upstairs, you know, you got the 21s, you have the, you know, you got the 20s, you got the 23s, the Chicagos, the All-Stars, you know, you have the 22s. Of course, you can't forget about the anniversary 11s. And down here you had the anniversary ones, you know, in that metallic silver, and of course the Rising Suns with the Rising Sun sole inside. And you have down here the brand ones. Again, you'll see these, but what you're talking about 2007. So these range from 2005, 99, 2004 on up, but these are original. So these are the ones that I like to have, or I have down here. Sometimes I rotate it, but this stack right here pretty much stays the same. But besides these, and I know that these are part of the Spitz-like series, but the King Counties, again, just a different flavor, a different color. But I know that some may have them, or you're stuck on the retros, but it's nothing like having the originals. The originals before the retro. So, just to showcase,
What
got it.
Oh, my bad. But what made you start? What made you start saying, "Hey, I'm gonna start buying a bunch of shoes"? What made you make that decision?
Actually, it just started with just I used to be a Reebok guy and an off-other brand guy, so I've never really had Jordans, or never, you know, like most people, I really couldn't afford Jordans, to be honest with you. Really didn't see what the hype was until, you know, it's a funny story. I told you about that story. But,
yeah, we know that story.
You know, so we know the story, but. You know, I got hooked on a pair at the outlets before raffles, before bots, before you had to reserve. You could just walk into the stores and get them, or you could see a shoe that was coming out next week. They would have them in the back, and it just turned into Jordans, to be honest with you. So I went from off Reebok, Adidas. I'm not going to mention them other brands I told you about, but
Lugs.
Lugs and things like that.
He was rocking Lugs.
You know, the Timbs and things, and I got into fashion. So, you know, with watches and clothes, and it really became a part of the retro. But I think it was maybe what I'm talking about, 04, 05, these were my first pair of original Jordans that I actually liked them, so I have them in my hand again, but I actually liked them. And I'm like, okay, this is a nice shoe. Now, I wound up never wearing them. And got these to match them and just started from there. So you're talking about 1 or 2 pair, 10, 20, and then history says the rest after that.
All right. Well, that, like I said, that's a very small piece of the background that got him started into being he hate being called a shoe collector or, you know, a sneakerhead. So I'm going to refer to him as the term as he's like a shoe enthusiast.
Yeah,
he's
much.
a shoe enthusiast.
Yeah.
So that right there is just the beginning. So now we're finna move on upstairs.